Hey, my friends. Good morning. Welcome. All right. So, this is going to be a short one, but I wanted to come live today and give you a new perspective to look at all the internal shit that makes growth, leadership, entrepreneurship harder than it needs to be. If you are a purpose driven entrepreneur, or a transformational leader in some kind of way, shape, or form. I feel like I'm totally. Hold on. I need to get centered. It's not just our inner self that needs to get centered. Sometimes our outer self needs to get centered as well. All right, that's a little better. All right, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. If you're a purpose driven entrepreneur, if you're a transformational leader, then by definition, you are here to change the world in some way, or at the very least, your industry. And you're here to do big things. So, just based on that, you're supposed to be a little terrified or a lot terrified. You're supposed to feel overwhelmed. You're supposed to feel like you're not quite good enough, like you're not ready, like you don't know how, or you don't know if you have the capacity to hold it all. You're supposed to have resistance because you're doing something that big. And so that resistance, that internal struggle comes with the territory of being here to do something important, something that matters. And so that's what I'm trying to say. These feelings internally that rub, that resistance, that overwhelm, that feeling drained, that feeling like you don't have what it takes. I want to invite you to not assume that they are telling you that you're out of alignment. I want to invite you to not assume that these feelings mean that you're not meant for what you want, that what you want is not possible for you. Because for me, and from working with so many leaders at this point, these feelings are actually a roadmap. They're simply letting you know that what you are doing and desiring and destined for is big, that it matters, that it's important. And they're not an indication that something is wrong. Either something is wrong out there or something is wrong with you. Of course, you are scared. Being this big, being this visible, being this impactful, asking for what you want, setting yourself up to be potentially rejected over and over and over as you're growing, as you're building momentum, holding all of this is scary. And here's the other side of it. If you don't have some degree of internal friction, if you don't have some degree of resistance, some degree of struggle in this expansion path, there's a good chance that you're coasting. There's a good chance that you're actually meant for more than what you're currently experiencing. You're meant for more in your life in terms of what you're creating and receiving. You're meant for more in your body of work in terms of what you're here to actually truly share with the world and do with your clients, like some kind of what I would call your sacred work. Like a lot of us kind of stay under our sacred work because that's what feels safe, that's what feels comfortable, that's what we feel like we have a handle on. But we're actually meant to discover something even bigger. And so it's this fine line, because when you work with the nervous system, I like to say that it's not about stepping out of our comfort zone. It's actually about expanding our zone of comfort and staying in our zone of safety. So we find ways essentially to start to really expand not only who we are being, but really the work we're bringing forth without leaving that sense of safety. But if you're not feeling some of that friction, some of that resistance, then you're potentially playing a lot smaller than you're destined for. And more than likely, in some way, shape, or form, you're hiding. You're putting a mask on. You're not letting yourself be as big as you actually have the potential to be. So your contractions, your internal resistance, your angst are not in the way of your expansion. They are not the absence of expansion. They are literally a request from your body and from like a future version of you. They are a request for you to let go of something that needs to be released. They are essentially letting you know that there's something internally or in your life that needs to be let go of. They're letting you know that as you're stepping into this journey of expansion, you are requiring more safety and support. So they're requesting from these contractions are young parts inside you. They're small parts inside you that are saying, I don't know if I can. I need help. I need help releasing this limiting belief. I need help feeling more safe and supported so that I can step forward into this bigness. Essentially, your contractions, your internal resistance are literally your body letting you know that something either needs to be let go of or you're needing more safety and support so that you can step into that expansion that is trying to emerge. Here's the thing, everything in you wants to expand. Everything in you wants to be liberated from what keeps it small and contracted and feeling unsafe and unworthy. Everything in you wants to be freed so that you can reach your potential and you can actualize the life and the business that you are meant for. And so the contractions are actually kind of like a compass. They're showing you where your power is still bound. They're showing you where you're holding on to a belief, a rule, an identity that is no longer conducive to what's next. And they're showing you the pathway forward to moving through that, releasing that, and stepping into that next level. So the issue is not your internal resistance. The issue is one, that you're actually believing that something is wrong when you feel that internal contraction. You're buying into it, and you're actually feeding that bind. You're feeling the knot. You're feeling feeding your internal resistance rather than helping yourself be liberated from it. So the first issue is you're buying into the idea that there's something wrong. There's something wrong with me, and there's something wrong with what's happening out there. And that belief that there's something wrong actually fuels and feeds your smallness. And it keeps you like anchored to who you were and who you are rather than to who you're meant to be. The second issue here, the second issue beyond your internal resistance is that you don't have the right tools. This is the true issue. Your internal resistance is not the issue. Everybody has it. If you're doing something big, if you're actually putting yourself out there, you're supposed to have resistance. If you're expanding in any kind of way, you're supposed to have resistance. The issue is you don't have the right tools. You don't have the right tools so that you can hold and lead yourself through your own fear, through your own doubt, through your own overwhelm, through your freeze response, through your resistance. I guarantee you, every big out there, every giant out there who has created something amazing has had doubt, has felt afraid, has felt drained, has felt disheartened, has felt overwhelmed, has felt frozen and unable to move forward and not knowing what to do. Every giant out there has felt that internal resistance. But in some way, shape, or form, they had tools to help them hold and lead themselves through that so that they could keep moving, so that they could stay on track, so that they could continue to feed the momentum that was happening towards their actualization, towards their expansion. This is the reason tools are so necessary, because willpower, especially if you're someone who's kind of sensitive and soulful, as most transformational leaders are, willpower will rarely work to help you move forward. It's just not going to work. You can't push yourself through that level of resistance. Or if you do, at some point it backlashes. At some point, you end up in a pattern of self-sabotage or in a pattern of burnout, and suddenly you literally can't use willpower to move beyond that contraction, that inner resistance. So it's important for us. I think the dogs are good. All right. So it's important for us to have different tools, different ways to help us to lovingly master ourselves, to help us to lovingly move through these contractions and essentially bring them into relaxation, into liberation, and into expansion. When you have the tools you need that allow you to regulate your nervous system, to feel safe and supported through any of the friction, to any of the setback, then you become unstoppable. And here's the thing you want to understand: expansion always comes with friction, because we're not automatically wired for expansion, especially from a nervous system perspective. We are wired to stay safe and comfortable, to blend in, to fit in, to do anything that's going to essentially expand our survival. We're not here to create. Our nervous system is not wired to help us create big things. Our nervous system is here to help us stay safe. And the truth is, becoming bold, visible, creating big things does, like, essentially moving out of that smallness does not keep us safe from a nervous system perspective. It makes us actualized potentially, but it doesn't make us safe. And so what we have to do is we have to have the right tools so that our nervous system starts to feel safe and supported through the friction of expansion and in the process of expansion, like regulated expansion, where expansion actually starts to feel comfortable. Expansion starts to feel natural and normalized. When you do that, when you have those tools, then literally every time you bump up against yourself, you feel disappointed, you feel frustrated, you feel drained, you feel like it's never going to work, whatever. Whenever you bump up against yourself, you have exactly what you need to hold yourself through it, to move yourself through it, so that you stay on track, you don't lose momentum. When you do that, and when you become that able to seamlessly master yourself and move through your own resistance, then the fear no longer stops you. Actually, the fear, the resistance becomes your compass. It becomes the thing that lets you know what needs to be liberated, where you're still bound. It becomes the thing that reminds you and lets you know you're still heading in the direction of optimizing your potential and creating that big thing you were born for. So, like I said, contractions are not the absence of expansion. They are the request for expansion. They're letting you know you're still moving towards your actualization, and they're letting you know what's in the way that needs to be met with love, that needs to be made safe, that needs to be made feel supported, so that it will open and release that hold on your internal power. So with the right tools, your fear and your resistance becomes your pathway to the liberation, the expansion, and the actualization that you seek. It's actually almost magical. It's almost like there was some divine intelligence that gave us the key to our own unfolding and emergence and put them right inside us. And for the longest time, we've been battling against them rather than seeing them for exactly what they are. A magical tool to know exactly when we're heading in the right direction and where we need to unlock ourselves so that we can keep moving, keep expanding, keep growing, keep creating. So that's what my work is about. I give my clients tools to unlock themselves. I give my clients tools to help make what feels unsafe safe, to help make what feels impossible not only possible, but possible for them. So if you're tired of feeling like you're always blocking yourself, of allowing your fear, your moods, your doubt, your states, your overwhelm, and even allowing short-term results that are not satisfying and setbacks to hold you back from what you know is possible for you, from what you know you're meant to be, you're meant to create, from the results, the extraordinary results you know you're meant to create, then I want to invite you to work with me. If you know that you are meant to be bigger than what you're currently experiencing, you know that you're capable of showing up in a bigger way, you know that you have the potential to create in a bigger way, but your own internal friction is holding you back and keeping you small, then this work is for you. I would love to help you actualize and become the most powerful and peaceful force in your life and in your business. If you don't know me, I'm Ilsa. Essentially, I use 20 years of experience and my background as a therapist, an expansion expert, a strategist to help purpose-driven leaders and entrepreneurs kind of rewire their neurocircuitry and their strategies for expansion and for more sales and more money and more client enrollment and more joy in the process of growth. So if you sense that your business is held back in some way, that you're held back, that things are not as simple as you would like them to be, that they're not as nourishing as what you feel is possible, that you're blocking your own ease, your own ability to show up consistently, to create consistent results, then let's do some expansion work. There's no reason to wait. Let's make sure that the second half of this year, allows you to explode and totally change what the outcome and the income is going to be for this calendar year. Let's take your life, your business, your leadership, your wealth to totally new levels. And let's restore the flow, both your internal flow so that you're not contracted, you're not drained, you're not overwhelmed, you're not frozen, you're not doubting yourself, you don't feel small. So let's restore and repair your internal flow, and let's repair and restore your external flow, your results, your momentum, your traction, in partnership with your nervous system, with your brain, and your energetic capacity. So if you are interested in doing this work, I have a really simple way to get started. And essentially, you and I just do a full-on 90-minute intensive. I call it my Wired for Wealth intensive. I offer 2 or 3 a month of those. And I basically help you become the most peaceful and powerful force in your life and in your business by unlocking the contractions in your body. I will show you exactly what to do to unlock that internal power. I'll give you a process, a protocol that you can use over and over whenever you feel tight. And whenever you feel like you're getting in your own way, to come back into a sense of liberation and expansion. And at the end of that, we will discuss doing some more work together if you want to. That Wired for Wealth Intensive is not a sales call. It's a full immersion experience with me, one-on-one. And it's going to really give you a sense of how I work with people and what the work is about. And it's 55% off if you're new to me. So please make use of it. I'm actually not sure how much longer I'm going to keep offering them. I feel like I offer a lot in those. And so who knows? They might be gone in a couple months. And then I might just go back to doing simple sales calls with people who want to learn this work rather than offering that first session. So make use of them, book them if you've never had one. If you have had one, connect with me, email me, DM me, and let's have a 25-minute call if you're ready to do some more work. Totally free. We'll just decide which of my packages are best for you. And that's that. I hope this was helpful for you. I will see you soon. Bye.